In this video, we're going to cover how long your autoresponder sequence should be. Now this is something that many people struggle with, and maybe you do too. So what I'm going to do is take you through 5 different tips to help you when it comes to knowing exactly how long your autoresponder sequence should be. Now the first tip I'm going to give you is when you create a campaign in your autoresponder, this could be for any niche. When you create your first campaign or a campaign, then I always recommend that you have at least 3 follow-up emails in place before you start to build your list, because otherwise this is going to put a lot of pressure on you in order to go back into your account and add content and add follow-ups, add follow-up messages on a daily basis. Now this is of course if you send an email out every day for the first 3 days. If you space your first 3 emails out 5 days apart, then that's obviously going to take you up to 15 days, but I wouldn't recommend that you space your first 3 emails out that much, because when somebody enters your list, then the first 5 to 7 days is going to be the most important, and you want to be following up with them on a regular basis. So make sure that you have at least 3 follow-up messages in place, and I'd recommend that you space those out 1 to 2 days apart, especially over the first few days. So you can then, and this takes us on to tip number 2, you can then add more messages over time. So don't think that before you start to build a list, okay, you need to have like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 2 or 3 months worth of emails set up in your autoresponder, because you don't ever think that you need to have weeks or months of emails set up before you start to build a list. The most important part is for you to take action and actually build your list, and then once you begin to build your list, then you can add more follow-up messages over time. Now tip number 3 is your customer lists will be different to your prospect lists. So your customer lists are your buyers, okay? These are the people that spend money in your business, and these are the people that actually buy your product. So then you segment those customers onto a different list. Now your prospects are people that have not yet purchased any product from you, so therefore you keep them on a prospect list, okay? These are people that have not bought anything from you and have not spent any money with you. So when it comes to your email follow-ups, there are 2 ways to do it, okay? Your customers will be getting a different form of messages than your prospects, and I do follow up with my prospects differently than I do my customers. Now we will go into your customers later in the course. For now we're just going to focus on prospects, and then one of the later videos I will go into how often you should follow up with your customers. So this is tip number 3 out of the 5. This is just so that you understand that customers and prospects are different when it comes to your email marketing, okay? Now tip number 4 is you should aim for at least 6 months worth of follow-up messages. So this entire video we're only focusing on the prospect list, okay? This is not for your customers, this is just for your prospects. How long your autoresponder sequence should be for prospects. These are people that have not yet purchased anything from you. Now you should aim for 6 months worth of follow-ups, and this is a good number to aim for, because the more follow-ups you have in place, the more effective your campaigns will be, or will generally be, and that is tip number 5, okay? The more emails you have in place, the more effective your campaigns will generally be. So you need to make sure that you set up quite a few different messages, and over time, as I said, over time you can add more follow-up messages. But what you should do from the start is make sure that you have 3 follow-up messages in place, and then you can add more over time, okay, and aim for at least 6 months worth of follow-up messages, because the more you have, the more follow-up messages that you have in place, the more automated your business will be, and the more sales you will make, and the more money you will make in your business, because you're going to be able to convert more prospects into customers if you follow up with them over a longer period of time. Because some people will not purchase after a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even 3 months. Some people may take 5 to 6 months before they even purchase one of your products. So this is why you need to follow up with people for as long as you possibly can. Now, some people will purchase within the first day, couple of days, but everyone is different, okay? Everyone buys mostly on trust and credibility, so it may take you 5 months to build some good trust and some good credibility with particular customers. So don't always expect to be able to sell one of your products to a member of your list, a subscriber, within the first couple of months or within the first couple of weeks. Sometimes you can, but as I said, sometimes it does take a lot longer. So if you have a 6 or even 12-month email campaign set up, then you're going to be making sales 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the line from people that signed up 8 months previous, okay? So the more messages you have in place, the more money you will actually make in your business, because everything's going to be running on autopilot, and people that join your list may purchase within a couple of weeks, but while you get those customers that purchase fairly early, you'll also have your prospects that are in your sales funnel that are maybe on the messages about 6 months down the line, so they then could purchase as well. So this is how you can make a lot more money in your business, by making sure that you aim to have at least 6 months worth of follow-up messages. Now, of course, this does take time. You're not going to be able to do this overnight. This will take quite a few months to actually create, but this is why I say add more follow-up messages over time and you will get there. So let's go over those 5 tips again. So the first one is make sure that you have at least 3 follow-up messages in place as soon as you create a new campaign and you start to build your list, okay? Don't start to build a list until you have at least 3 follow-up messages in place. 3 messages you can create within an hour, within a couple of hours. It's really easy. The second tip is you can add more over time. Third tip is don't forget your customer lists and your prospect lists are completely different in terms of how often you follow up and how long the sequence should be. They are similar, but there also are some differences which you need to be aware of, which I will cover later in the course. Tip number 4 is aim for around 6 months worth of follow-ups, because as I said, this will make you a lot more money in your business. You will generate tons more sales because you're going to have people in your sales funnel that are going to be 5 to 6 months down the line, and they're going to be purchasing products at that stage, as well as your early subscribers that maybe purchase within the first couple of weeks. So this is how you can make your sales funnel way more profitable, okay, by having lots more follow-up messages going out over several months. And the last tip, tip number 5, is the more messages you have, the more effective your campaigns will generally be, because as I said, the more email messages you have set up in your autoresponder, then the more messages will go out over time, and some people may not purchase for 6 to 8 months. But just because they don't purchase for the first couple of weeks, it doesn't mean they're not going to purchase. Everybody buys generally on credibility and trust, so it may take you quite a few months to build credibility and trust with particular subscribers. So this is why it's important that you need to make sure that you aim. Don't think you have to do this straight away. It's important that you aim for 6 months worth of follow-up messages, and then once you get to 6 months, you can perhaps then increase things from there. This is just covering the prospect list, not your customer list. Okay, this is for people that come into your business and join a free newsletter or a free mailing list. These are the people that we're talking about in this video.